Ron Chernow, The House of Morgan, An American Banking Dynasty and the Rise of Modern Finance. Dive into the intricate world of finance with Ron Chernow's The House of Morgan, An American Banking Dynasty and the Rise of Modern Finance. This book chronicles the extraordinary evolution of the Morgan banking empire, tracing its roots from the 19th century challenges of American debt in London to the high-stakes world of 20th century global finance. You'll follow the tales of key figures like George Peabody, Jr. Spencer Morgan, and John Pierpont Morgan, witnessing their impact on the financial landscape. Encounter pivotal moments such as the Panic of 1907, the formation of the Federal Reserve, and the tenure of Morgan Stanley during the shakeups of the Glass-Steagall era and the fervor of the 1980s. Chernow elegantly captures the fusion of power, resilience, and the slightly perilous edge of high finance. Whether you're a finance aficionado or a curious novice, expect to unravel the complexities of this enduring financial powerhouse.
Peabody's financial legacy. In the 1830s, London thrived as the epicenter of global finance, bustling with influential firms like Barings and Rothschild and Sons. The period was fraught with instability for American states, burdened by debt and doubtful reliability. Amidst this, George Peabody emerged, a Baltimore native who ventured to London to renegotiate Maryland's debt. He became a pivotal figure, representing not just his state but the financial credibility of an entire nation. Born into modest circumstances, Peabody's early struggles shaped his prudent nature. By 1837, he boldly reversed the norm with his London merchant house, at a time when American states faced financial turmoil, highlighted by a series of defaults. Peabody's dedication to restoring trust in American securities demonstrated his resilience and integrity. As his financial success grew, so did his commitment to philanthropy, though his personal life remained largely veiled. His legacy took a monumental turn in 1854, with the formation of a partnership with Jr. Spencer Morgan, leading to the legendary House of Morgan. Crucially, their partnership weathered financial storms, such as the 1857 panic, which tested and ultimately refined their banking acumen, laying the groundwork for their enduring success. The Morgan Legacy. Jr. Spencer Morgan's ideals profoundly influenced the financial world for over a century, leaving an indelible mark that transcended his family to shape global finance. The Morgan story wasn't one of sudden wealth but rather a narrative of generational stability and affluence. This consistent foundation fostered their unique approach to both business and society. Raised in luxury, John Pierpont Morgan, Jr.'s son, enjoyed an extensive education across Europe. His entry into finance coincided with the speculative fervor of the Civil War era. Yet, despite his professional endeavors, Pierpont faced personal challenges. Health issues and a strained relationship with his father shadowed him, and he was deeply affected by the early death of his first wife, Amelia Sturgis. This loss starkly contrasted with the solidity found in his second marriage to Frances Louisa Tracy. Junius played a crucial role in honing Pierpont's career path, pairing him with Charles H. Dabney to establish Dabney Morgan and Company. This partnership prepared Pierpont to uphold the family's banking traditions. The Morgans came to prominence during a transformative period in banking, marked by the rise of railroads and heavy industry. They stood out as powerful lenders, often setting terms for both trade and governments. Adhering to the Gentleman Banker's Code, a practice valuing discretion and passive client acquisition, the Morgans secured an enviable and influential position in finance. This ethos not only cemented their legacy but also ensured their continuous impact on the financial landscape. The story of the Morgans is both a testament to the enduring power of foundational values and a reflection of their lasting influence on the sector. Financial Rescue 1907. October 1907 heralded a pivotal financial calamity as the stock market faltered, driven by stringent monetary constraints, President Roosevelt's critique of the affluent, and speculative stock ventures. The revelation of trust companies' precarious dealings without sufficient reserves spotlighted their vulnerability. Enter J. P. Morgan, who stood as a bulwark against the impending collapse. Rallying fellow bankers, he orchestrated resource pooling and secured a crucial U.S. Treasury loan to stabilize the market. At 70, Morgan acted as the de facto central bank, spearheading the rescue of numerous financial entities, including New York City itself, despite skepticism about the concentration of power in his hands. His intervention underscored an irony: trust companies, once competitors of traditional banks, now underscored the need for a robust, regulated financial framework. This crisis fueled the push for banking reform, culminating in the Federal Reserve System's establishment, marking a paradigm shift from private bailouts to governmental oversight of the economy. The Morgans' war gamble. In the summer of 1914, the eruption of World War I plunged the financial world into chaos. At the forefront of this maelstrom stood the House of Morgan, under the leadership of Harry Davison. As tensions soared after Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia, Wall Street trembled amidst a bear market and economic uncertainty. Recognizing the peril, the Morgans orchestrated the closure of the New York Stock Exchange, a strategic move to prevent a catastrophic market crash. This pivotal moment signaled the United States' rise as the dominant global creditor, diminishing England's financial supremacy. Initially, the Morgans contemplated mediating peace in the Balkans, but swiftly shifted focus as the war escalated. They became pivotal in coordinating financial support for the Allies, beginning with a $12 million horse purchase, and eventually managed half of America's wartime supplies to the Allies, amounting to approximately $3 billion. The Morgans' extensive involvement drew scrutiny and criticism, with accusations of profiteering and preferential treatment toward British interests. Nonetheless, their unwavering support for the Allied cause was rooted in both deep connections to England and a firm belief in the righteousness of the Allies' mission. A new financial epoch. Between 1933 and 1938, the House of Morgan navigated seismic shifts in the financial world, spurred by the transformative New Deal era. With the Glass-Steagall Act ringing alarm bells across Wall Street, Morgan faced a pivotal decision: focus on deposit banking or plunge into investment banking. The Securities Act of 1933, instead of being rescinded, marked a new chapter by mandating stringent registration and transparency for securities, changing the game from a buyer beware to a seller beware environment. This posed a significant hurdle for the House of Morgan, known for its powerful discretion. In 1934, despite staunch resistance led by Morgan and Richard Whitney of the New York Stock Exchange, the Securities Act pushed through, marking a decisive victory for regulatory forces and signaling a paradigm shift against Wall Street's old guard. The disappointment ran deep within J.P. Morgan and Company, with partners, especially J.P. Morgan Jr., Jack, feeling the weight of the shifting tides. Yet, by 1935, a strategic fork in the road led to the birth of two distinct entities, J.P. Morgan and Company remaining a deposit bank and Morgan Stanley emerging as an investment banking powerhouse. This move aimed to adapt to Depression-era market conditions, safeguard the workforce, and leave room for future consolidation. Across the Atlantic, Morgan Grenfell, the British branch, was evolving too. It transformed into a limited company, partially held by the New York counterpart, enhancing its influence. This pivot bolstered Morgan Grenfell's reputation as a steward of securities underwriting, in tune with a stringent regulatory landscape. These strategic shifts were either insightful foresight or survival tactics, only time would reveal their true value. Wall Street's prime architect. Journey back to the 1950s, a tumultuous period for Wall Street where the investment bank Morgan Stanley stood resilient and powerful. Despite its relatively small size, Morgan Stanley became a leading force, shaping the corporate world through its elite, close-knit network of partners. Its roster of clients included top industrial magnates, who relied heavily on the bank's innovative expertise. The firm's dominance was rooted in a strategic partnership with J.P. Morgan. Despite the Glass-Steagall Act's separation of investment and commercial banking, these giants collaborated by exchanging business and facilities. Morgan Stanley was synonymous with opulence and excellence, known for its conservative client selection and prudent navigation of financial fluctuations, which kept it above the political fray. In the late 1940s, Morgan Stanley and 16 other investment banks faced antitrust allegations from the U.S. Justice Department, accused of monopolizing underwriting. This prolonged legal battle eventually concluded with Judge Harold Medina finding no illegal collusion. As post-war economic landscapes evolved, Morgan Stanley successfully adapted to an increasingly competitive market. The traditional alliances between banks and corporations began to dissolve, yet Morgan Stanley maintained its supremacy by focusing on blue-chip clients and exercising caution in new ventures. Throughout the upheavals, it retained its prestigious status in investment banking. In contrast, J.P. Morgan & Company held on to its commercial banking strengths but encountered new challenges as the 20th century unfolded. As the financial realm transformed, the House of Morgan's legacy continued to evolve, navigating through the complexity of modern markets. Wall Street's radical shift. During the Reagan era, Wall Street morphed into an energetic hub reminiscent of the boom-and-bust days of the 1920s. This was an age marked by bullish stock markets and enticing tax cuts, yet underneath the excitement, America was losing ground economically to Japan and Europe. Despite this financial exuberance, the stock market's rise did little to enhance U.S. competitiveness or shrink trade deficits. Instead, it led to elevated levels of international borrowing. The financial sector's culture also experienced a seismic shift. Wall Street, once a domain of decorum, became a bustling arena filled with ambitious, profit-seeking minds. The traditional practice of relationship banking dwindled as young executives pursued profits with little heed for societal or political issues. A pivotal moment came in 1985 at Morgan Stanley when Eric Gleacher spearheaded a new strategy in the mergers and acquisitions division. This daring approach prioritized profit over client alignment, mirroring a broader transformation within the financial industry. Morgan Stanley's focus on maximizing profit potential was evident in major deals like the Revlon acquisition, cementing its role in high-stakes corporate takeovers. These methods defined the 1980s as a time when investment banks propelled global market integration. Yet, the relentless pursuit of self-enrichment raised alarms about potential capital mismanagement and the financial stability of American businesses. A significant development was Morgan Stanley's venture into leveraged buyouts, LBOs, often burdening companies with overwhelming debt and necessitating asset sales and cost-cutting. As Morgan Stanley transitioned from conservative broker to aggressive financial powerhouse, questions arose: did these transformations benefit Wall Street and the broader economy, or were they fraught with peril? The permissive regulatory climate fueled innovation and rapid growth but also laid the groundwork for potential financial upheavals.
In The House of Morgan, Ron Chernow unveils the profound influence of the Morgan dynasty on global finance, encapsulating their strategic maneuvers across critical historical phases. The Morgans navigated through financial crises, monumental wars, and significant regulatory changes, consistently reshaping the world's economic framework. From George Peabody's foundational role to Pierpont Morgan's rise as a de facto central bank, and finally Morgan Stanley's ventures into modern financial innovations, the narrative illustrates the family's ability to adapt and thrive amid shifting economic landscapes. The book not only charts a financial dynasty's triumphs and tribulations, but also reflects on the broader implications of concentrated financial power. It prompts readers to consider the enduring tension between innovation and regulation, highlighting the delicate balance that sustains global financial systems. As the Morgans faced each era's challenges, their legacy offers timeless insights into the resilience and adaptability required in finance.